I need help, boss.
Stands up and says it louder. He goes, I have a really big penis.
We're the NSAA. We're never serious about anything except grip ball.
I have drifted an aircraft carrier.
What?
To an extent, but you'll be out there alone as fuck. There's no.
Just bumping into people by osmosis of dopeness, you know?
3, 2, 1. We're going.
Welcome everybody back to the Happy Hoodlums podcast. It's your boy Kemper Woodruff, and we have the very powerful Zachary Sampson in the house with me this evening. And we're going back to the basics. And, you know, sometimes when I'm doing this podcast, the more that I do this podcast, the more it helps me to define who I am by what I'm willing to share and not willing to share. And I think in terms of our journey and what we're willing to do in life to accomplish the things that we are dreaming for and working towards and feeling called to bring to life is that, sorry, that was a hard transition. I guess I'm saying that the more that you're true to that energy stream that you get in when you feel those things, it works the timing in a way that orchestrates stuff to transpire that in time you'll look back on and say, is that something that's sacred for me and just for me to cherish, you know, in my heart? Or is this something that I want to give to the world, you know, and let the world in on? And through that, you kind of figure out who you are. And I think it's something that's interesting because almost all of us go through it with social media and trying to navigate it, you know, who we really are versus what we want to present when we're painting the picture of ourselves, you know, and like, do you want to paint only the good stuff or do you want to have the full picture of yourself? Are you willing to allow that, you know, and what's right or wrong in that? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've been flirting with that thought, you know,
Yeah.
as I do these podcasts with you. A lot of people come on and they share things, you know, and I see different willingnesses to go and be like in terms of depth of vulnerability, you know, how willing are you to share certain raw elements? And you know, why is it that some of those things are kept? Are we keeping those out of fear or are we keeping them out of love? You know, and that makes a world of difference in how we accept ourselves, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. That's pretty deep.
Yeah, that's a good thing. If there's no rebuttal, it means you're thinking, you know? That's something I got from TD Jakes. I get a lot of stuff from TD Jakes because honestly,
I have
you
no
know,
idea who that is.
TD Jakes, Bishop TD Jakes is the best pastor other than like Jesus. Like, bro, what he's given to this world in terms of his body of work and just in terms of a storyteller. This dude could have easily been a comedian, and I think, you know, in some cases he is. You know, his job calls different elements of humanity out of him. You know, so he has to be able to be a lot of things. But the way that this man speaks and formulates his thoughts, you know, is so polished and so poignant. There's no fat. It's all purposeful and it's theatrical in its presentation, you know, and he just uses his voice and like it's magic. Just when I hear his sermons, like I learn things that keep me on track, you know, and I think everybody that, you know, anyone can go there and experience that, you know, online. Like anyone can look him up and experience that. But their experience will be uniquely their own. You know, I've met people who are of different religions that still are very knowledgeable of other religions and the stories and have a reverence for it. even if it isn't like their home in terms of their, I don't want to say doctrine, um, but their religion. You know, it's not the foundation of what they believe, but they can look at other religions once they know who they are and how they are and what they believe. They can take other things in and accept it and be like, oh no, that's pretty cool, you know, and also be like, no, there's some whack shit, but also look at it and be like, well, there's tons of businesses, right? Every business has some level of, or most businesses have some level of lack of oversight, or someone's getting over somewhere in that business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a business grows, just if you're looking at like Walmart, you can't tell me there aren't people that don't get over on Walmart, Subway, whatever, Dollar Tree. You can just go down the list. Um, and so if you look at like a church or something, right? Of course, it's going to be it's the same representation of what you see in the world, you know, people wise. Like we're all just people, and so there's going to be a mixed bag wherever you are, but who you are and what you believe will be what navigates you to those spots where you have these encounters, you know, um, that aren't necessarily. Hold on, excuse me.
Do your thing, bro.
I was going down a real rabbit hole, so I'm gonna pull the parachute on that one. I think you guys understand what I'm talking about in terms of, you know, believing and understanding who you are and allowing that to infuse what you do in your walk through life. Thoughts, Mr. Zack?
Um, I don't know, bro. Like, there was a lot there. Like, I was trying to unpack it as you were going, and it was just hard. So I just ended up
Yeah,
listening. So I don't really have a thought on it. But
that's fair.
yeah. I mean the when you talked about people being themselves and who they want to present, that's something I've
Mm-hmm.
actually thought about quite a bit, actually, about how I present myself in different places. And I don't know if
Yeah.
I do it consciously or not. And so I'm like,
Huh.
do I give people a different version of Zach in all areas, or are like all my different types of me just who I am, just different uh things about me coming out in certain environments.
Well, in a real world way, right? The
Yeah.
way insecurities, I guess, would work, right? Right before you said what you said just now, I kind of adjusted myself, and really it's because of my back and stuff.
Yeah.
But in my head, I go, I I would hate for subconsciously you to perceive that I'm like posturing or like because I backed away from the camera as you begin to speak, that it's like a nonverbal thing. And I
Yeah.
know that you're not even giving a shit about that, you know, in all reality. Like you probably don't think anything about it. I'm just moving. You know, that's no
Yeah.
different from at any other time. Um, but that's acceptance, right? You're not looking at it in that way because you don't have any insecurity there. Where sometimes, like for me, because I want to communicate and I understand there's certain different levels of communication that allow people to be more or less engaged, right?
Yeah.
Um, and feel your presence a little bit easier and be calm about it. Like that mirroring stuff, right? So if I just mirror your posture and we're just talking, and you're sitting in a chair and I'm sitting in a chair across from you, it doesn't look all that weird, and you feel more inclined to be like, oh, all right, I kind of resonate with this person because they get the
Bro,
vibe.
you know what's crazy? I follow this YouTube channel. It's like
Hmm.
Charisma University or something like that. And
Yeah.
it teaches about different social things, like how to be a little bit more charismatic, basically. And
Mhm.
I actually watched 2 videos today. One was about looking for the peace or the positive in everything rather than a negative. So like if you
Mm.
hear someone say something, figure out a positive way to respond to it or interpret it positively, right? And the other one was uh about mirroring people and that it's not always in body language. It can also be in words, like repeating the last 3 words someone said before you continue what you're saying. And it's
Yeah.
really crazy to think about. It's like just small things like that is really
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, there's a way to like coach people into things, and it's kind of like I didn't understand this for a long time because when I was first in college and I was doing broadcast stuff,
Yeah.
they had us doing a lot of journalism, so a lot of writing, and
I hate
grammatically
writing.
they would get on my ass, bro, and I was like, it would piss me off. Also, sometimes I go from talking in first person to third person. Like I have a very
Yeah.
different way of communicating in those terms. And so it would make it hard for some of the stuff to be read, although intentionally I'm writing something that is meant to stretch your mind. So if you can't get it without reading it a couple of times, is that bad writing or is that, you know, part of what was intended? Like you don't want to write just to like dazzle someone or you know what I mean? Or make it so they can't understand it and it's like a fucking hieroglyph.
Yeah, I mean like you're if you were to say those words out loud,
Mhm.
someone you're saying them to should be able to understand them, which in essence would mean if you wrote those exact same words down, they should be able to understand it.
But how you make those pauses and different things like that in terms of grammar, right? They would poke holes through a lot of it, and
With like commas and shit, like, oh, you need a comma here, otherwise it doesn't make sense.
yeah, and in
Yeah,
terms of formatting a paper, right?
yeah,
They would get on me because it didn't read like normal journalistic writing,
yeah,
And I went to my teacher, Lydia Yuknovich, and she is the most incredible writer. Look, male or female, you both need to read these books that she's written. The Chronology of Water is her autobiography, and it was like the most deep, poetic, moving story. And it's broken up into um, these 5 different segments, which basically encompass swimming, running out of steam, kind of just trying to tread water, and then
yeah,
drowning and then rebirth, right? Like out of it all. And so she writes about multiple times in her life all at once. And it was a perfect example of what I aspire to do,
yeah.
Although I've clearly failed because no one is saying this shit to her. But I was like, look, I don't like writing the way that they want me to write, And she was like, look, you have to understand the rules before you can break them. So when you break them, you can justify it.
Yeah.
And what she said before that was even cooler. She goes, oh, she was like, so there's a poet in you somewhere. And from that, I wound up writing. I have a compilation of a ton of poems that I've
Yeah.
gathered. Yeah, it's like a full book's worth that someday I'll release. Um, but yeah, uh, I don't know. When in terms of communication and trying to keep things 100% linear, it just doesn't work. That's not really what life is like.
Yeah.
In reality, it'll smack you in the face, and then you'll also be hit with magic and like real divine intervention that will open your eyes in other ways, where you go, oh, I realize that what I see isn't as it seems, you know?
Hmm.
It isn't as it seems. And maybe just in that, there's a wisdom that slows us down a little bit in who we want to be to the world, and how much of ourselves we want to share with
Yeah.
others.
And I mean, like, um, that's I guess it's like it's basically a version of self care, right? And I
What?
like a version of self-care,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So like presenting yourself as someone who is completely you is a version of like loving yourself. And
Hmm.
there's this documentary that I watched today. It was called like The River Run or something like that on Netflix. It's about this dude who did who was kayak, who basically lived a really rough life, and then he got into kayaking and he became like a kayaking superstar. And he lost friends to kayaking and stuff like that, and his big goal was to do these 4 really insane dangerous rivers.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting brain cancer through it, and then he took like 8 years away from rafting, had to learn about who he was cuz he had always like built a shell around him, and he was always like telling people to toughen up, and he was having a hard crazy mental thing going on. And then he got back into rafting after he'd like shifted into self-love entirely. He got into meditating and yoga and taking care of himself, and then his tumor stopped growing because he was no longer stressing out. He was enjoying life again, and his tumor just stopped growing. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy what just like some self-love will do to you, man. It'll stop a
Yeah.
tumor. Not really, but like, but
But also, like,
you
some
know,
people, like, you can see that as two ways, right? Um, like that in a sense is divine intervention. You know, you didn't necessarily like tell it to stop growing. You
yeah,
changed your attitude about the situation, and,
yeah,
and then just kept it pushing, trying to do what you felt you were supposed to do, and then in the right place at
boom,
the right time, it happened. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes these situations aren't as they seem. You
yeah,
know, like in the beginning of that, you're just like, oh shit, I got brain cancer. But at the end of that, you're like, whoa, there's a purpose to living this life. And I know why I enjoy this in a different way now.
yeah,
And you know what I mean?
yeah. It's I
And it's
mean,
interesting because then sorry, what were
no,
you
go
going to say?
ahead, go ahead.
At that point where you're like reflecting in that way, there's a piece of you. And it's like the rawest part of you likes the way you did it when you did it janky. It's like a fake facade, bro. That's like the angel and the devil on your shoulders in the
Yeah,
cartoon. It's like that, that's the devil in your ear, bro, for real. Because of the fact that it's like you really progressed out of that, and you can like it's a lustful thing. Like it's not super fulfilling in a like wholesome way, in the same full way, you
yeah,
know? There's a difference to a full-bodied soup and the top ramen. You feel me? Top ramen can get you through. You can survive on top ramen, but there's a fucking difference from soup that was made with love and real ingredients and fucking top ramen.
yeah, yeah. Or just like really well made top ramen, which I guess would also have love
Hey,
in it.
bro, that's like putting lipstick on a pig. You know what I'm saying?
No, no,
Like
I
it's
mean
still
not top
food.
ramen, but like ramen itself is a type of food.
Oh,
So like
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I meant to say. Like not the top ramen part, but ramen itself, like good ramen compared to top ramen, completely different.
Now it's funny that we come up with this, right? Because watching dudes make ramen fucking noodles on the internet is the most chaotic food to ever be made with love. Where they're all
Yeah,
fucking, there's
bro.
a million strings. Just
Yeah.
fucking, and all of a sudden it comes out this beautiful fucking udon
Bowl of ramen.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super
bro.
tasty and shit.
Yeah, but when they're making them, they're flapping them and shit. Like it's the craziest looking thing you've ever seen.
Oh, that's
But it's
great, bro.
beautiful. And that's why I think like it's funny that life comes around, it comes full circle like that. It makes it so it's
Yeah.
like you were gonna not have fun for what?
For
Like,
nothing.
yeah, the shit was going on, but like you always try to find a way to, have fun, and as you become more mature, you begin to embrace the fact that you can accept um people to live out their nature and their walk through life. Some might call it your dharma or your karma, blend of the two, whatever.
Yeah.
you know, but your destiny, whatever you want to call it, you know. This is why the podcast is kind of like powerful, because as much as it's kind of philosophical, we're kind of fucked up in explaining it how we explain it. You know what I mean? Like it's or
Well,
I
we're
really
still
can't think
we're like
goofy.
we're goofy, but we're also only like adept speakers. We're not like expert speakers in explaining how we think.
Don't call me no fucking adept speaker, bro.
You're an
I'm gonna
adept
have to give it all
speaker.
my swear words, and I'm gonna have to become super articulate and just reel it in and get
No,
Oxford on you. Next
you
thing
can
you see me, I'm
fucking
gonna have
swear and
glasses.
still be articulate.
Oh yeah, but next time I'm gonna be, you know, little V-collar vest. It'll be 100 degrees in here. I'll be sweating.
That's not what I mean. I don't mean like
Uh,
what you say is not intelligent. What I mean by that is an expert speaker knows how to get their point across
me,
without confusion.
it cut out.
Oh, what I was saying was an expert speaker compared to an adept speaker. An expert knows how to get their point across, and so that someone understands it,
Hmm.
right? And like they'll figure out way, like they'll ask questions and then tailor the way that they explain things to that person,
Yeah,
right?
I guess I'm much more like clinical when I'm at my work. If you're sitting there trying to explain to somebody like how a gun works, it's pretty cut and dry terminology. You know, it's very explaining like the features of stuff. You know, and it was interesting because I didn't realize that it was kind of prepared, that skill set back when I was working in the weed shop. Because when I would have to explain to people what a strain does on like an actual, you know, this is your medicine. This is back before it was even recreational. So all I'm
Yeah,
dealing with are, you know, people with autoimmune diseases and PTSD. And there were people that were, you know, getting over, like, definitely for sure there were people that abused the system, or it so it would seem,
yeah,
you know, but uh you know that, you know, fucking air quote that all day, uh the system, yeah, but learning how to explain to somebody top down, like, this is what it smells like, tastes like, feels like, this is how it's going to hit you, all that shit,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Sorry, I had a moment with myself because I was just like, man,
Yeah, bro.
fucking
You got real
like,
stuck on the system for a second.
that's the hippie in me, bro. I'm like, man, I don't like
You're like
institutionalized
the system.
nonsense. You know what I mean? Like to think getting over on the system to me is like, how, how,
Yeah,
like, this person's gonna put this shit, you know, in their system, give them the cleanest thing that they could get, you know.
yeah,
Don't try and make it this weird arbitrary game of catch me if you can, you know.
yeah. On when it comes to like that, get the cleanest shit, right?
Hmm.
Um, there's this. I don't remember which country it is, but I want to say it's either Netherlands or Sweden. And what they do for addicts who are recovering, they'll bring them into the recovery center and they'll give them the best version of the drug that they're addicted to, but they'll help wean them off. So it's like for people who are like heroin addicts, for example, if you quit cold turkey, you could die. If you stop
Hmm.
cold turkey on heroin, same with alcohol, right? And so they'll help get them off by giving them the quality version
Yeah.
of their drug. And it
Hmm.
actually seems to be pretty effective.
Yeah. Well, I think also like there's a willingness to change that only comes about sometimes
Yeah.
through divine intervention type scenarios, you know, and some people don't get to live to see that, you know, and maybe that's their divine intervention. Who the hell knows, man? You know, who knows at the end of the day? You just got to live and have fun, and
For
buy
real.
triple things like this. Not even centered.
It's okay, bro. It's only like a ½ inch off.
That's what she said.
What? 4.5's not enough? That's funny.
Yeah, sorry, too easy. But no, man. Also, just a willingness to learn.
Yeah.
You know, is a huge asset to life, and to be willing to not get it right. You know, like
Yeah.
tonight, in terms of my speaking, it's like not my A game, but
So many
I'm still
people
here.
are afraid to fail when they're getting into new shit. Like that's
Mhm.
kind of one of my biggest. Not it's something I've kind of worked on for the most part, and I've gotten around it. But it's
Mhm.
kind of one of the biggest things that I've put in front of myself, stopping me from, or it's causing me to battle with myself about doing jujitsu. And so it's like, oh fuck, that's gonna suck, cause I'm gonna be so bad at it, and yeah, and it's just gonna suck for like a good amount of time.
No, this is the
And
weird.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
no,
This is
continue.
the weird thing about jujitsu is like, and this goes with fighting. Like, some shit will happen, and in the beginning, you don't have the moves in your brain, so you might even get into an advantageous position just off of strength and instinct, right? And then not know how to attack a limb or
Yeah,
something. And so
go for
you
the
just
submission.
are strong and try to squeeze them, and then you wind up gassing yourself. You're not breathing. You're exhausting your muscles, and they're just counting down the time because they know that they're not in a position where there's enough leverage that it's going to hurt them. It's just, is my diaphragm strong enough to maintain some breath
Yeah,
coming in and out? Because I'm going to position myself little by little, and eventually I'm going to flip you and just transition. And then you're going to get choked out, and you're going to be like, bro, you're going to feel like you fucking had him. That's the trick. That's why it's so fun. Like, bro, I had him. I was right there. If I would have just done this and this, okay, I would have got it. And then you're going to go get rolled up again and again and again and again and again and
that's
again.
what I'm
And you
saying.
learn
It's gonna
little by little.
suck, cause I'm gonna suck. I'll realize that I suck.
You
And
know,
that's like one of the fears.
I
Yeah.
believe it was Hickson Gracie that said he didn't believe. Wait, was it Hickson? He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I can't believe. I want to
Whoever it
make sure I
was.
get the right one. But um, basically, he said he doesn't think that you should roll for the first year. There shouldn't be any real like sparring. Just go do the techniques, fall in love with the craft and the mind state, the philosophy, the incremental progress, and then go in. Because I think there's something to that. In the American style, like, yeah, you're only as good as you've trained, the level you've trained to, when that situation arises, right? Then it's
Yeah.
not training anymore. It's the real deal. What you got is what you got. And so in American philosophy, like, we're so forward progress, that it we injure ourselves oftentimes. It's not always the best. Also, for your spirit, you know, in taking this journey, it's not going to be a way where it's as empowering.
Yeah.
You don't always, like, you're naturally going to lose your way to success. You're going to lose all the way until you start winning.
Yeah.
And
You're
that's just what the fuck.
gonna lose until you start winning. Unless you start winning, you never lose.
Well, some people are naturally really good wrestlers and might have a really good top game, but they're going to lose because they know jack shit about arm bars and head triangles and all different kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And when someone gets them in a Williams guard where they got their leg up over their shoulder like they're going to omoplata them or something, grabbed around with a collar tie, bro, it gets trippy, and you gotta remember, you're not seeing it like watching UFC. You're seeing it from like this close to their chest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have the full window.
You have to feel their
everything.
body, basically.
You just have to know your instincts, you
Yeah.
know, and trust where you are in time and space as you're doing these things, you know. And so that's an interesting thing for you to bring up, jujitsu in that way, because the journey is so rewarding because of how much like loss there is in the
Yeah.
beginning. And if people can come to terms with that, just in their own life, whatever their fight or their study or their philosophy, whatever you want to call it, in their own life journey, if you can become cool with that hard start, you know, towards the end, you know, midway point, something's gonna flip, bro. If you keep knocking at that fucking door long enough, something's gonna flip on you, you know? So watch what door you're knocking on, you know? Know what kind of like emotional neighborhood you're in where you're when you're here fucking with this thing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's weird how you can find purity entangled in struggles, you know? And that's human. And we don't want to love like we're loved. You know, like from the ethereal energy source that I refer to as God, you know? Like there is a river of energy that keeps all this frequency in check, right? You just think in terms of frequency. And um, when you start to deal with people, you have to look at, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is this work that I'm going to have to put in worth it in my spirit, you know, or does it drag my spirit down? And the answer is what you find worth it in your spirit, you think about it, you know, you do it, you feel good when you do it. It harmonizes with you. So it can't be a bad thing.
Yeah.
You dig? It may come out of some inspiration off of some bad shit, but it don't mean that it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So it's a necessary expression for the greater good of all of us.
Yo. Random question.
Yeah.
In normal conversation, how
Mhm.
close is too close for someone to be standing next to you?
Yo, at work, if my shoulder's right here and your shoulder's like right here, you need to back the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because I'm always thinking about like a showcase kind of thing.
So like
like
2
if it's a
inches.
busy day, there might be like 15 people like backing me over here, and I'm like, y'all need to just take this
Yeah.
much.
So like
back.
arm length away is too close.
I would prefer that you're not closer than that. But that depends on who you are. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't even think about it like that. Say if you're in a packed bar or restaurant or something, lobby, like then it's like if you're with the pack, you know, then yeah, come on. You know, if your energy is cool, come on, but don't be stinky, don't be snoopy, or don't be sketchy.
Bro,
You
I
know,
always find myself like taking half steps back from people because I feel like they're always getting too close to me. Like at work, people talk to me, and I'm always like, yeah, I'll like always shift and adjust positions and where I'm at because people will just walk closer to me to talk, like really close. I'm talking like within arm's length to talk to me, and I'm like, it's weird for me.
it depends on who you are.
Yeah, like so I
I
started
like
stepping
that.
back, bro. I'm
Depending on
like,
who they are.
yeah, I mean, like I'm cool with it with like in certain situations, but it's like these people are getting real close to me. I'm like, hold on, bro. I don't know if I'm uncomfortable with the closeness or if it's that I need to be able to see your hands or the majority of your body, and I can't when you're like within like right here because I only see your face. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I'm always adjusting and stepping away from people a little bit.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. That's a cool instinct to have. Maybe it makes you appear like the man, because not because you're walking around looking at shit, but because you're just always like, yeah.
Well,
We're
I'm
like,
always
damn,
like,
he's chill. As soon as we try to even communicate, he's just like flying away.
yeah. People will take like a full step towards me, and I'll start like I'll walk like we'll be at the front desk, right? and I'll be
Mhm.
leaning against the wall behind it, and someone will start talking to me behind the front desk, and I'll like walk and like pick something up off the other side of the desk while they're talking to me because they got too close. So I'll make it look like I'm fucking doing something, but I'm still listening to them and talking to them, just moving
You tell
away.
them about the podcast.
Some of them know. A lot
That'd be
a
awesome
lot
if
of
they
them
heard
follow me
you.
on Instagram, so we'll see.
That'd
Yeah.
be an awesome clip. See if they're watching. See if anybody says anything. You show up
Oh
at work, find
shit.
out who's really real.
Yeah,
They're
they
like,
all
"Hey,
just start
Zach, you
standing.
back up." And you're like, "Look, where the fuck you going, Zach?
Yeah.
Talking to you."
They all pin me in a corner or some shit. I'll be like,
Yeah,
this
there
is
ain't
so
even no
uncomfortable.
trash on the ground over here to be picking up. So fucking around while I'm trying to talk
Yeah,
to you.
exactly, dude. But yeah, I
Yeah,
was thinking about that today. I was like, what?
it's a case
But
by case thing.
for
It's
sure.
a case.
It definitely is.
Because like
Yeah.
I've also been to concerts where it's like, and I
Yeah. Well, I mean, in certain situations like that. But if it was like a
don't like it,
one-on-one, just one-on-one, that's what I was talking about. But
bro.
yeah.
J. Cole made this crowd feel like it was a one-on-one. I swear to God, it was like, or not even a one-on-one. It was just one people standing together. It was like
Everybody.
everybody was just having this experience of like awe. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, like, it was an incredible concert experience.
That's dope. Wait, where
Shout out to
this
J.
one
Cole.
where was this one at? This was when you went to Vegas, right? Or somewhere
Yeah,
somewhere
yeah, that
else?
was the
Yeah.
biggest one.
Damn, when was that?
Oh man, that was years ago, dude. I don't know.
Fuck. That was
Time flies, man.
yeah, that's crazy, bro. You've been to
Yeah.
Vegas a couple times though.
Nope.
Didn't you go for
One
Halloween
time.
one time?
That was the same time.
Oh, it was. Damn, wow, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That was right
I
before
went for
COVID.
Halloween, and then I went to a concert the next day, and it was like an all-day concert, and then we flew out right after the concert. Like literally just went.
Yeah. I think that was right before COVID. Like the Halloween before COVID, I think.
It
That's my
probably.
guess. That's my guess.
It was,
I don't know.
yeah. I don't even know, man. Time is
Yeah.
crazy. What's interesting is like at this point in my life, you can't help but look forward.
Yeah.
To like what today is gonna bring. All that stuff that's happened. Like for me today, what success was is like I made the bed. I have food that I can make after this for some dinner.
Yeah.
The people that I love are all good. You know, and that what more can you really ask for at the end of the day? Anything's gonna be a cherry on top.
For real.
Is like when I bought a Keurig machine, bro. I haven't used but one cup of coffee in it.
Yeah.
We've had it for like a couple months now, and I felt
Fuck.
like such a boss buying this. And just knowing that like everybody else, is like, oh yeah, we got this convenient little Keurig machine.
Yeah.
Like that was cool to me. I was like, all right.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, I had something on my mind I was gonna say. I forgot though.
You look like it. I was right here waiting.
Damn it, bro. I hate when that happens, man.
Steps up to the mound and just drop the ball.
That sucks, man. I hate that shit so much. I'm like, dude, if I could just like write things down in my brain, that would be sick.
They say that's how Jay-Z freestyles. He writes all his songs in his head
Yeah.
and then just does it.
Or if I could like write it on my screen with my brain. Like just write like I have a
Wait,
note
am I
thing over
on the
here.
screen? That's dope.
I have a little notepad over here on this monitor, and I'm just like I'm thinking of my thought, and I just write it down, just type it real quick. Don't even have to type.
Yeah.
That's just me being lazy.
I
need
wonder
a
if the
better
viewers
brain.
are gonna like this camera angle better. What's up, y'all? Let me know.
Yeah, if you made it this
Finally
far.
not sitting on the floor.
Yeah, for real. But
So
eventually we'll get you fucking set up. You'll get decked out eventually.
it'll be legit all the
for
way.
real.
And
Yeah,
you know
bro.
what? What I look forward to even more than that, even if I was just sitting on the floor for the whole rest of the time, if we had some like cool gift box and stuff, like bro, I can't wait till we can do a Happy Hoodlums like bundle, and monthly have people scheduled out so that way, if we got an author this month, we can send out a book.
Yeah.
Have someone else that's got like a clothing company. We can just choose different themes. So we have like a couple for each month.
Yeah.
That would be sick because I think if we did like a loot crate, like a Happy Hoodlums loot crate, that shit would be dope.
I think could be pretty cool for sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
to me, just giving more incredibly fun, interactive, personal things. Something that someone can rep, like that makes them feel they're represented, and that it's a frame of mind and something that they wanna get down with. Uh, I want to support that and really cherish that. Anybody that would be willing to put the HH on their back, that's what I'm talking about.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
Big facts. Or put it on their car. If you wink wink.
Yeah, the back window of the car.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wink good. Like, it makes my whole face. I'm like a pirate.
You know what I realized? I realized my face has different looks depending on which eyebrow I raise. Like one is more questioning, one is more like what the fuck? Like that one's like what the fuck are you talking about? This one's like,
I don't know. Like I'm having a hard time doing it right now. Like I can only do that one, but I can do a hell of a stink eye. That's the Rock right there, bro. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
yeah. Oh, bro, I watched the video of The Rock and Kevin Hart doing the tortilla fucking try not to laugh shit. That shit was so funny. Dude, Kevin Hart was jumping up and down in that video and they added squeak noises to every time he landed. That shit was so funny. He's just squeak, 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 squeak. It's fucking hilarious. It's awesome. I seen it on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah, this shit was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I seen this chick on Instagram today too. She was riding on a skateboard on her hands and shot a bow and arrow with her feet at a balloon and hit it.
She was driving.
Yeah, bro.
She was driving it with the fucking remote control. Like that.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I think we're thinking of different things.
I'm not even joking. There's a remote control on the skateboard. So she was driving this one way, coming the other way, and with her feet, she was shooting the arrow.
Yeah, no, this is the same video. I don't think there was a remote unless I just missed that.
Yeah, bro.
That's pretty crazy. That makes it even better.
That's at least there was one in the one that I saw. That was crazy.
That's some crazy shit, bro. Some crazy talent. That's insane. I've been trying to make sure that I get sunlight because I can get into this trap of like staying inside too much, and I'm like, I need to get outside, get some sunlight, and it makes me feel really good when I do, especially when I like put on like a muscle shirt and I just absorb sun and I just sit out in the sun for a little bit, like 10 or 15 minutes at a time. And I'm just like absorbing the sun. I'm like, bro, I feel so good out here. Sometimes I feel like it's not real outside sometimes. Yeah. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. This is fucking awesome. Like, outside is cool, bro. Like, you look up and that shit's blue as fuck. And then past the blue as fuck is forever. Outside is pretty fucking awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
People don't realize that.
Did you do some shrooms today?
What?
Did you do some shrooms or you just thankful?
I was thankful, and I feel that way all the time. Every time I go outside, I'm like, this shit ain't real, bro. This is crazy. Yeah. But if I was on shrooms, I would be like, bro, this shit makes so much more sense why I thought it wasn't real. Because this shit really isn't. This is just all like, what the fuck?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
Yeah, no. I feel the same way. Like if I stay in my room all day, no matter how much positive stuff I do, I have like a worse day than if I go just outside my front door for like 2 seconds. If I just walk to my truck and then back, bro, I feel like awesome.
Outside is crazy, bro. Like, that's where we're meant to be.
Yeah,
It's
we're
awesome.
meant to go have fun.
And I literally will walk outside. I'm like, sunlight on me. I'm like, there's no way this shit's real.
Yeah,
There's no way. This is too amazing.
100%.
Yeah, bro. That's awesome. It feels crazy to think about that too, because it's like, damn, this doesn't feel real. How does something not feel real? That's crazy to me, because we don't know what real doesn't feel like.
Bro, you just fucking melted my brain for a second. What the fuck?
Because everything real we can feel, right?
Yeah. Hey, but I guess it's based on, if you think about a frequency,
Yeah.
it's like a radio. It's not just the emitter, it's the receptor,
Okay.
So whatever you're like tuned to, like you can experience something good, and if you're in a bad place, not be receptive to it. Because the energy doesn't cohesively match,
Yeah.
Yeah. But, bro, on that note, I don't think we can end this podcast on a higher note. That was the highest thought I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Other than maybe some shit I said on a ramble. Got lost and I was talking and it just fell off. But we love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
We're
guys.
putting up another rep for the week. We hope to see you next week. We love you. Peace.
Later.